Welcome to the Four Bells, where we are doing a workout from home, number 99. And it is the Wayne Gretzky of workout today's. It is another great one. And today we have ourselves a glorious leg day in the books, where we are going to focus on front-loaded squatting patterns, bilateral, two legs, and unilateral, single leg. So to get us ready for those today, we've got three things to get us ready. We are going to start off with a 30-second squat hangout. So if you've been doing the homework from the mobility series, 30 seconds is nothing. It's a drop in the ocean of time. So we're going to hang out and go through some different drills. From there, we're going to get into the Bootstrapper Squat. We're looking at squatting mechanics as well as dynamic flexibility through the hamstring. We're going to do 10 reps. And from there, we are going to do what our marker is for this cycle as well as the overhead squat. We're going to be doing that for 10 reps today as well. We're going to do these three things 3 times in the warm-up today. So let's take a look at it. So we start our warm-up in a squat hangout, which means if we can, keeping the heels on the floor, knees track in line with the toes, and we're trying to get maximal squish between hamstring and calf. So if you remember the videos we put out this week, if you want to, you can just hang out here with no assistance. You can use a little bit of a counterbalance with a weight, but either way, we're just going to hang out here and just explore to see how things feel. How my ankles feeling, how my knees feeling, how my hips feeling. But once I've spent 30 seconds down there, we're going to get into a Bootstrapper Squat. So hand position is going to be entirely decided by how flexible your hamstrings are. So if you can, hands on the toes, I'm going to straighten those legs out, and then from there I come back down, chest as high as possible into that bootstrap position. So keeping the hands there, we straighten out the legs, back down, bum down, chest high when we are doing our Bootstrapper squats. So once we've done our 30 seconds of squat hangout and we have done our 10 Bootstrapper squats, we're going to do 10 overhead squats. So for our overhead squats, I need a PVC pipe or a broomstick, something that's relatively long. We don't want to be too short or it will make that overhead position that much harder. How do I get into a good position? I'm going to take my PVC pipe, I put it into the crease of my hip, I extend my arms out until my elbows are locked out, and then from there, we bring it overhead. I'm going to squeeze my shoulder blades together. And if I look straight up, there it is. There's my PVC pipe. I set my feet up for my squat, keeping the chest high, initiating with the hips. We descend all the way down, trying to promote the most vertical torso position we can, and we're going to do 10 overhead squats. That is the warm-up today. Today's strength piece is all about squatting patterns. We are going to do some bilateral, two-legged squatting. We're also going to do some unilateral work in the form of lunges today. So we are going to do 5 sets. Each set is 3 minutes long, split into 2 90-second windows of time. In our first 90 seconds, we're going to do some kind of front squat. That was very Dr. Evilish. When it comes to the front squat, what I need to think about is, am I using a barbell, dumbbells, kettlebell, sandbag, whatever it is, we are going to be in a front-loaded position, which means that promotes a more upright torso position, but in turn means we need to have better mobility, particularly in the ankles and the hips, to get into those positions. So for our front squats today, we are going to do 10 reps, and each rep will be at a 3-0-X-0 tempo, which is a very fancy way of saying we're going to take 3 seconds to descend. So that means each set, if we're doing it at that tempo, should take at least 30 seconds for you to get through those 10 reps. From there, in our second 90 seconds, we're going to do some forward lunges. So keeping maybe that same weight, you might find you might need to go a little bit lighter in the lunges. We're going to do 8 reps on one leg and 8 reps on the other. So depending on how you want to approach this, if you find you've got one leg that has a glaring disparity, let's say for example your left leg is much stronger than your right, then I would say start off with that second strongest side and try and make sure we can balance them out over time. So we are going to do some front squats, we're going to do some forward lunging. Let's take a look at these guys. So with our front-loaded squatting today, you can use whatever you like. So the barbell is a superior tool for loading because you can incrementally add weights on and off. Of course, from there, we've got things like dumbbells and kettlebells that have fixed loading. And from there, if you really want to get adventurous, we've got things like bags of books where you can add weight as you go, I suppose, in a kind of roundabout way. So of course, use whatever you have at home. We are going to be doing 10 reps, focusing on that 3-second eccentric. So that means when you're doing your squats today, whether that's single kettlebell, single dumbbell, double kettlebell, barbell, whatever it is, we're going to do 10 reps. So I'm going to use 2 dumbbells today, setting up on the shoulder. I'm going to get into my position for my front squat. So with our position for a front squat, as always, the emphasis is the most vertical torso that I can. So I descend for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and then fire it back up. That's the X, we explode up. 1, 2, 3, and then from there, we fire it up. So that's our first 90 seconds. From there, when we get into our second 90 seconds, or we get into forward lunges, maybe you're using the same weight, maybe you're using a lighter weight, but either way, I am going to do a forward lunge. So I know that my left leg is weaker than my right leg, so I'm going to do all of my reps on my left side first, and then I'm going to move on to my other leg. Of course, if you want to alternate, that is completely fine. All we're trying to remember is when we are doing our lunges, is we are keeping our feet on train tracks, not on a tightrope, and we are doing 8 per leg of a lunge today. Today's conditioning piece is simple. We have a 12-minute running clock, and we have a couplet of movements. We have overhead squats, and we have kettlebell swings. With both of these movements today, we are going to start with 3 reps of each. I'm going to do 3 overhead squats, I'm then going to do 3 kettlebell swings. From there, we go up by 3 each time. 6 overhead squats, 6 kettlebell swings, 9, 9, 12, 12, 15, 15, adding 3 on each time and seeing how far up the ladder we can go within that 12-minute time cap. So what I would say is with both of these, because the rep scheme is going to be relatively low at first, don't be afraid to go a little bit heavier. I would say with the overhead squat, just a simple broomstick is enough. If you really want to get crazy and add an empty barbell into it, you can. With the kettlebell swing, I would say, because we're starting with such low reps at first, if you've got a heavy kettlebell, use it. So let's take a look at how both of these should go down in the conditioning piece today. So we start our 12-minute clock with 3 overhead squats and 3 kettlebell swings. So let's kind of just go through a couple of the, I suppose, the first couple of rungs of this ascending ladder together. So I would set my feet up, get my overhead position with my PVC pipe, and I'm going to perform 3 overhead squats. Once I perform my 3 overhead squats, I can put my very light PVC pipe down, or my empty barbell down, and then move into 3 kettlebell swings. So always hinging, we set up the hamstring, set up the glutes, nice neutral spine, we're looking for that forceful hip drive forwards. 3 points of engagement, tight quads, tight glutes, tight abs. So from there, done 3 overhead squats, we now do 3 snappy kettlebell swings. I then put my kettlebell down and I'm back onto that overhead squat, where now I'm going to perform 6 and then 6 kettlebell swings, and we keep going up by 3. So that's what we're doing in today's 12-minute AMRAP. 3 and 3, 6 and 6, 9 and 9, 12 and 12, going up by 3 for as far as we can go in 12 minutes with the overhead squat and the kettlebell swing. Have fun. Let's know how you get on.